Hello, greetings from Newport News, Virginia. This is Ray Yo. I'm an eighth grade earth science teacher and a seventh grade life science teacher, and I'm fortunate to work with Cheryl Rowlands, who's also in Newport News. And our project involves oyster gardening and climate change. Newport News, as you know, is on the Chesapeake Bay, and oysters and blue crabs are very important to our area. And in the recent history, the numbers of both have declined considerably, largely due to overfishing and uh, pollution and so forth, man-made problems. But we want to look at what possibly could occur with climate change, specifically acidification of the oceans. Our goal was to determine how gradual climate change would impact oysters in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. And we felt that if climate change causes an increase in acidity, then oyster growth will be impaired because it impacts the shell structure and also the hinges of the shells and other things, reproduction. And our experiment was to compare the growth and mortality rate of oysters deposited in different bodies of water with different water qualities. And um, as we studied our oysters, oysters have a certain area which they can grow successfully, and acidity wise is between 0.6, 0.75 and 8.75. Basically, it's a basic water they desire, and salinity between 12 and 27 points per thousand. Salinity would be impacted because as the ocean level rises, the shoreline would recede. And the benefits of the oysters in the community, well, oysters are filters, and they filter the water. And as you can see, an adult oyster can filter 50 gallons of water a day, which is amazing for something that's only 3 or 4 inches long. And at one time, they could filter the entire bay in a week. Today, it would take a year. And I'll turn it over to Cheryl.
Okay. To start our study, we kind of kicked it off with an estuary experience. We spent, well, let me back up a little bit. We are doing this project with 3 different grade levels, 6, 7, and 8. And each grade level's taking a little different slant on it. But anyway, we took each grade level out to an estuary, and we spent half the day kayaking and the other half of the day doing water quality testing and catching crabs and measuring them. We spent part of the time in a discussion format and looking at the Chesapeake Bay and the impact that climate change could have on it. Not only on the waters, but on the wildlife and everything that lives there. Okay, Ray, do you need to change this? Okay, this shows where our oyster floats are located. The one on the bottom, on the left-hand side, is right near our school. It's within walking distance, and as you can see, we're right on the water, on the James River. And then on the other side, on the upper left side of your screen, that's in Poquoson, and it's on the York River, or the body of water here. I believe it's the Poquoson River drains into the York River. And those are both large tributaries of the Chesapeake Bay. Our oyster gardening is something that we have been doing for several years. This year we're getting more students involved in it, as I said, with all 3 grade levels. We have 1 float at each location. There are 2,000 oysters in each float. And then twice a month, we take students to the marina and we do water quality testing. And we test for pH, dissolved oxygen, salinity, the temperature, both water and air temperature, and turbidity. and then compare with our float that's in Poquoson. We also, since we're in the early stages and still getting this set up, we are trying to hook up with other oyster gardeners or schools, both in the area and out of the area in other states, to compare results with them. I think it'll be interesting to look at, different bodies of water and the types of results they get. This is the size of our oysters. We just got them about 2 weeks ago. The average size was just a little over a centimeter, about 11 millimeters. We measure about 100 of them a month. We record that data, and then we get an average size. We remove all the dead oysters, and we keep track of the mortality rate each month. This is just a sample of what a graph may look like when the year is over and the kids have recorded all of their data. This is also a really good experience for them, just learning how they need to be accurate in their measurements and record it accurately. So this is one for salinity. And let's see, okay. Another picture of the kids measuring the oysters. Oyster spat.
We, just to butt in there,
I knew you would.
I know. Cheryl's the brain, I'm just the pusher here.
No, he's not.
We have contacted other areas, and we found some interesting things. For example, the people in Alabama and Mississippi, they put their oysters out in June, and or their spat out in June, and then plant the oysters in November, where we put it out in September, and then place them on the reefs in May. And so what we're hoping to do is we'll get some information from those areas and try to compare with what we have. Another indicator that we found as we've been looking around, we're in contact with an organization in Alaska who's doing some in-classroom acidity tests, and we hope to be able to glean some information from that. And if there's anybody out there who wants to raise oysters and share information with us, we would be thrilled to do so.
We'd love to find some more people along the Atlantic coast. Ray has made some contacts in New York, I think.
Yes.
Right, Ray? Okay. We had a contact in South Carolina, but that didn't work out. So we're still looking, and we know we'll find some, and we do have teachers in this area that are interested in sharing data with us.
It is a great project, though. The kids get a chance to get their hands dirty and compare data and so forth.
It's nice because they have the experience of doing a scientific investigation, and they do get to see some results throughout the year because of the growth of the oysters. They won't see the impact so much of acidification in the ocean and the impact that it could have on the oyster shells. However, it's getting them thinking and maybe become better stewards of the environment. Okay, do we have another slide?
No, that's all in this.
That's the last one, okay. As we said, it's early in the year. We're just getting it started.
Yeah, for example, to show how things vary, the southernmost spot had a salinity of 16 parts per thousand, while the northernmost place, which is just a few miles away, had a salinity of 15 parts per thousand, and there's quite a variation wherever you look.
Mm-hmm. Anyone have any questions? Well, Ray, I guess we were very thorough or boring.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I believe our study is going to last through this year. After that, we're not sure. You agree, Ray?
Yeah, hopefully it'll continue on for several more, but some of us are getting old, so we can't be guaranteed. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that, Lisa.
Okay. Yes, our data is shared with two organizations. One of them is called Oyster Reef Keepers out of Virginia Beach, and they used to be associated with the Virginia Institute of Marine Science that's connected with William and Mary. We do share our data with them. Okay, are we figuring out the mortality rate? Yes, we do. We do a percentage each month.
Okay, we're sharing all of our water test data and our temperature data so far with Globe.
Are you able to find data that can show climatic impact?
We can find historical data for periods of salinity and some of those factors. However,
we can.
We don't have a lot of data just for the particular spot where we're testing.
We also, I believe, will be able to get historical data on turbidity,
Right.
which I think will show an increase in sedimentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I think that's something that's going to be very visible to the kids.
Okay, we need to wrap this up. So any other questions you can post on the discussion board to Cheryl and Ray. Thank you very much for presenting.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn you off as presenters now.
Okay.
So, okay. So the last thing I wanted to say is just thank you for coming tonight. Our next webinar will be on October 19th at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Our career speaker is Rebecca Jennings. She works with hurricane disasters at FEMA, and she used to work for the Weather Channel. And then our teacher presenter is Kevin Dixon, and I will send out a project proposal that he has so you can read it beforehand. He wanted me to send it out to everybody. And I will post Rebecca's bio tonight, so you'll have that for questions. And anything else, I'll stick around for a little bit, but thank you very much for coming.